Welcome on, welcome on. How y'all doing? Welcome to another episode of Life's a Beautiful Thing, where we talk about the beautiful lives and the beautiful people and the beautiful things that they do. I'm here with a good friend of mine, someone who walks the same shoes I walk in, who's traveled the same roads I've traveled, Miss Kellee Jordan. And before we get to talking to Miss Kellee, I gotta shout out to my sponsors and the people who keep me in business. Start off with my boys Dave and Jay at My Play Studio. Check them out for high quality podcast content, music content, all type of stuff. Good men, they look out for you. Check them out at 3850 Second Street, Suite 223, Wayne, Michigan. Shout out to House Lawn Care at 313-632-0483. Nice, affordable lawn care. Man who cares about his pockets and your grass, so it's going to be a nice, cheap, affordable services. Shout out to Culture Source and the creators of Culture Grant, where we are creating a new culture of media and young people. Lastly, shout out to Mail Care, 313-978-3982. Mail Care does great job on hair, all types of hair, any kind of hair. She gonna get you together. Lastly, I want to shout out Enchanted Rose and Motor City Mobile Wellness, where they have all types of healing potions and oils and services amongst women of color, who social justice. And you get to fight the police and smell good at the same time. So now we got through all of that. Hey Kellee,
Hey, Xavier.
how you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. I ain't seen you in so long.
I know. Thanks for having me.
Oh
Thanks
no,
for having me
anytime.
here today.
Anytime. You was on my list I wrote this list of my people a long time ago and you was on there, so I had to dig you up from the dungeon and make sure I got you here.
Oh my gosh, the dungeon is correct.
So what's been going on, Kellee? What's been new?
A lot. Just what I'm like 2 months out. I just quit my job and I was like, I'm gonna go full in with journalism and see like what's going on because nothing else was taking off.
Yeah. What was the job? Tell me again. You told me before, but tell me again.
It was crazy because this was just like a year ago. We was deciding like what job. I was working at a mortgage company, just doing post closing and just paperwork, detail. It was cool, like per usual. Meeting the people was always cool, but the work was just like, dang, can I get up?
Yeah. But you like a drone, like a mindless office worker?
Pretty much, and like you didn't want to go in robot mode, but sometimes I did, and then sometimes I'd be a human, and I'm like, nah. This was like the first time I even did some work like that. I usually be in like retail or yeah.
Fun fact, everybody. This phone I got, Kellee sold it to me. Yeah, Kellee sold me this phone that I got. And we are both journalists. We work for the same publication.
Shout out to the Telegram.
Shout out to the Telegram newspaper. We went to me, Kellee, and Cliff. Y'all know Cliff by now. He's gonna be on the episode before this one. We went to Nashville for the National Association. I can't remember
National
no acronyms.
Newspaper Publication.
Yeah,
That's
that one. Yeah,
association.
and we got to experience a lot of journalism from a lot of different sides. It was just a very cool trip. So, Kellee, tell me what you got from that trip to Nashville.
That trip from Nashville was such a great experience. From that one, that experience, it was just how close-knit media and newspaper really is and how easy it is to... Well, it ain't even easy. It's just how fun and how different it is from different geography... What would you say?
Different what?
Different demographics or geographically different parts of the world and the city of the nations.
Yeah.
Our nation that we in. And it was cool. It was really nice. It was just different to see because that is what African Americans, everyone was black. And it was just, you got an insight of different cities and what they bring to their community, really.
Yeah.
It was nice.
It was.
I enjoyed it.
And it was the NNPA. I just got it, the National Newspaper Publishers Association.
Okay, yeah.
Which is essentially the black press. It's a bunch of different black newspapers from all over the country meeting in one place. And that particular year was in Nashville. And do you consider journalism easy is it easy and fun because it's what you like to do?
No, that's what I had to when I said it was easy. I was like, no, I ain't gonna say it's easy. No, because depending on the story and the message that you might come across, and it's like, do you tell it or how do you tell it? Or like, we keep positive information in news and the media and keep that going. But it was an incident where something going on with the police, and it's like, how do you tell it and spin it? And I was talking to my sister, and she was saying how, like, the community need collective healing, and that would be, like, the message that you could give to that, because we want to speak positivity. So, no, journalism not easy.
What is your style and brand of journalism?
That's what I'm really working and focusing on now, because like being half in and half out, like, oh, I'm working this corporate job, then I'm freelancing doing this type of work. You half in and you half out. So to go full in, it's like to realize what that is. That's even like kudos to you for putting this together, because I'm working on putting on my show, but it's like, how do you find your even voice? Like, what pitch, what tone, where you going to be at with it? So that's what I'm working on. I know a lot was like business features and political, because I was out in D.C. and I'm just like, politicals are so, politician and all of that is so.
Yeah, and tell us why were you in D.C.?
School. Yeah, I went to school out there.
Which one?
Howard University.
Shout out to the HBCUs.
Yeah, shout out to the HBCUs. I think everybody should at least like tour them.
I tried. They told me no. I applied for HBCU, and they said no. Stay your ass up there. Neither here nor there.
They told me no too. They really did.
I didn't try again after my first no, so I kept it moving. So just tell me your HBCU experience.
Howard, of course, is different. They, like I said, they told me no, but I just went ahead and went. And what happened, like, I'm checking my financial aid, and I ended up getting a scholarship. So I say that because I'm always telling somebody, if I tell my story about going to college, is where you want to go, just go. Because, I mean, nobody was giving me a scholarship. So I was like, I might as well just go where the best option is. And I ended up getting some money. But you never know. Yeah. Things like that can always happen.
And did you go to Howard for journalism?
I did. I switched my majors like as soon as I got in. I was supposed to be a chemistry major. I was going to do forensic, work for the CIA, something totally different.
What made you want to do that at first?
It was cool. I like science. It was cool. I like science, but then I guess the shift was more so like when I looked at the classes that I was in, like I was in like honor science, but then I was like in AP English. So it was like, maybe that will work. I don't know. What made you want to go into journalism?
What really made me want to go into journalism in the 7th grade. No, well, what gave me my first journalism experience was it was a 7th grade do now assignment. And whatever it was, we had to like review a newspaper. And I think I just got 10 out of 10 points on that. And it just happened to be pretty good. And I started working for the newspaper on some like clutch shit that just looked out for me. And I was already a writer. Before I wrote newspaper articles, I wrote a movie. Like I wrote a 90-page movie. I wrote a 60-page episode for a pilot. I was just already writing shit. So when I got to writing that, it just came easy. Then I just kept doing it, and I actually like where I work at in regards to the newspaper. So I was just like kept it going, and here we are now. Okay. So it's like I want to utilize my degree.
Yeah, and see that's real, and that's funny that you say that, because that put me back to thinking how like I was in this journalism class in 6th grade, and I'm like, they just made that up out of nowhere. Or we was like in the 7th, they really made that up, and they wanted us to like make a newspaper. And I sit back and think about, like, stuff like that. Like, dang, how did that... Well, I guess that leads you up to things like this.
How was the journalism program at Howard?
I'm using it now. I'm really, really using it now. It was great. Like, Howard, first off, is just great for networking. Like, even though I don't feel like I was well, sometimes I'm like, am I a journalist? Because like freelancing is so sporadic sometimes, and you can go in your own mode where you like, I'm not even producing any work, or you are and you just not getting it published. So, but Howard was great. I'm just glad that I'm using it now, like getting my tech together and learning how to reproduce things and making my visuals and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Now, it of course could do some more like upkeep and stuff, I guess. I mean, I wasn't at another school to say my technology was bad or whatever. We worked with what we had, and that's just, I guess, coming with being black too. Like going to HBCU, you just learn, or not even at HBCU, you get to see that if you're not from that, but you just use and work with what you have. So it was great.
Did you work for the student newspaper or any of the student mediums out there? Or you just took your classes and dipped?
I took my classes, and they wouldn't let me just dip like that, though. I did have to. I ended up working for the radio station. I did. And that was really cool because I tried to get in there, and our radio station pretty big, like to work for the radio station. Or the newspaper, anything out there is pretty big. They can definitely work on the TV aspect of it. That wasn't that large out there. But I think it did get better. Actually, it was getting better when we left. So hopefully they continue to work on that. The radio, though, it was cool. I did sales. I was a sales manager. I ended up being a sales manager my senior year out there. Got to intern with our radio station. So they have a radio station that's actually on our campus, WHUR. So that's like 105.9 out here.
Okay. And what are the duties and details of what were you?
A sales manager?
A sales manager, yeah.
Putting together advertisements. So I put together just radio ads, like helping with the production, finding clients that would advertise on our radio, and then learning how to like place them out on the station and seeing the behind scenes like that. It was cool when you just sit back and think about it, like, because I was at Howard just going through the classes and just let me graduate, the degree gone.
Yeah. So you had to like reach out to different businesses and people in the neighborhood, the surrounding area, to see if they wanted to operate with y'all?
Yeah, and even like I had to do that. And it came about where I ended up like crossing over with the newspaper at that point. Well, it wasn't even a newspaper no more. Well, that's what they was working on me to do with the newspaper and get like advertisements in there as well. But I was working with like one of our professors. He had a newspaper of his own, the District Chronicles. Have you ever heard of it?
I have not.
It's I don't know why I don't see it in the PA.
He probably just ain't got around to it.
Or I hope he's still doing it. But yeah, he had a newspaper, so he had like a work study program. He like, the students really need to be working in their field, so I was working under him at the newspaper, and he had it all together. Like, okay, so if you're gonna work at the radio station selling ads, if you can sell it on the radio, why you can't sell it in a newspaper? So that was a nice thing. Like, yeah, they didn't let me just take the classes and dip out.
That's cool. That's cool. They made you do something.
I mean, but that's
When you got out of Howard and came home, what was your first job?
My first job, well, I was working at Mr. Allen's. So I was still, like, because when I come home for the winter time, or, like, my first summer when I came home, I was working at Mr. Allen. No, not my first summer. Actually, I had dropped out of school my second semester in college. I had only had one class. It was an online class. Because I didn't know. I think you don't got to pay, but you got to do an application to drop out of college. So I was like, I ain't about to do an application to drop out, and then I'm going to have to reapply to get back in. So I had just dropped all my classes except one online class, and I came back to Detroit, and I had got a job, and so I had that job. That was my first job.
Mm-hmm. Did you get any journalism gigs outside of school?
The Telegram.
That was the first one?
Yeah, that was the first one.
When did you start working? Go ahead.
No, my I don't say like my brother. He had linked me up with, what was it, FM 88.1. You heard of them?
Yeah, I have.
So that was the first time, like, yeah. And it's so funny because it was so many of us in that room that, like, right now they really, like, still doing their work and stuff like that.
Okay. What the hell you doing over there?
Just, like, well, they was gonna have me doing like advertisement because that's what they heard. But everybody was coming on there to pretty much be like a talent and see what you could do. And then I did like promotion.
Okay. Are you comfortable being in front of the camera? That part of journalism?
I am like in our package stuff, but like just even talking and telling my story, it's just like I still do be working on that. Cause it's like, who knows? Like I ain't ever really want to be like.
Mm-hmm. You don't see yourself being the face, or you working on that?
I'm working on that because for some reason, like that's what I've been staying away from. But it's like that's what you're supposed to be.
Mm-hmm. And tell me about your time at the Telegram.
So I've been at the Telegram almost 10 years now.
Okay.
Right. So I've been there since I graduated, and it's been a journey because when I was there, I started off as a intern, and during that time, like, again, I'm coming from college, and it's like, oh, I know you do the sales, I know you can get advertisements, so I was doing like all of that. I was doing everything besides like maybe editing a newspaper and stuff and delivering it. I do want to deliver it though. So
I deliver.
I know you got the coup. So yeah, the Telegram though, it was cool. I did everything pretty much. And it was just a lot of just pretty much finding the space and like what you want to do. Cause then one time I was just doing straight advertisements, and it was cool because I'm walking a neighborhood or a city that I'm not even quite familiar with, but getting to learn and know them, and they were all pretty much like welcoming, like, oh yeah, we know the Telegram got a representation. You know, they are well respected out there in the community that they serve. And when you hear about it, you're like, oh, okay, yeah. So that was cool, and just getting to know all the different businesses.
Yeah, and did that make you more of a people person? That in general, just reaching out and having to talk to people, because a lot of people wouldn't even expect that side of journalism.
See, and that's just like me. I think I was always saying, like, even on a resume when you was young and saying, like, your job was a babysitter. I'm like, I'm a people person. So that was a skill that I think I probably just like got from my daddy.
Yeah, okay. And what do you normally write for the Telegram?
I write business features, and a lot of lately been community. I just been getting out on the community, talking to them and seeing like what's their concerns, what's their issues, what would they like, what positive businesses is going on.
And how's the journalist Kellee from 10 years ago different from the Kellee of today?
She not selling ads. Selling ads is...
Hold on. Ads, y'all. ADDS. Ads. I know what it could have sounded like. That's not what she said.
What does it sound like?
It could have sounded... The wrong motherfucker gonna be like, oh, she ain't selling ads no more.
No, I'm not selling advertisements anymore. Yeah, I'm not selling advertisements anymore. But that was fun, though, because, like, a corner page and this page and that page not all costing the same and not all going to be the same, because some of them getting printed in color, some of it's not.
So between all of that stuff, did they help you learn the business side of journalism?
Yeah. It helped me. I was learning that in college, so it helped me, like, see it more so in motion.
Yeah.
Especially when we was in office, too. So that was different.
Mm-hmm. And what is the independent freelance journalist Kellee doing? What does that look like?
That look like more. It's finding discipline again, because being freelance, it was like, oh, I heard of this or I saw this and I want to write about it. Or every once in a while, you know, your publisher reach out and be like, can you write about this? Can you attend this? And now it's more structured.
Mm-hmm.
It's on this day, this what we do, that's what we do that day, this how we work in this one.
Do you have a schedule set out, or a story on Monday, a story on Tuesday, something on Friday?
No, not like that. It's more so like, all right, you're going to outline, okay, let's brainstorm all these stories. Let's outline this one. Go get the interviews for this one. Or because, different stories move at different speeds. You might reach out to somebody and not hear back from them for 2 weeks. So you can only move as fast as the story moves sometimes.
Yeah. And do you plan on publishing it in different newspapers? Are you going to go online? Are you going to hit your social media? Like, how do you really plan on jumping off the porch with your journalism?
That's how I'm working on all of that. Like, I have what they say, being too loyal can be too much
Yeah.
or whatever. Like, so it's like, how do you even go about that? And just working on that, because that's what I always saw, and that's what I always have been seeing. Like, it's gonna be in pretty much everywhere. Why not? Like, that's how I kind of work. Like,
So do you want to get rich off journalism? You just want to make a living? You just want to be known as a great journalist?
I just want to do the work that I'm supposed to be doing. Like,
Are there any stories that you want to do? Like in this moment that you just itching to tell that story? You want the people to know this thing from your behalf?
a story that I want to know, want people to know. Right now,
So you just going with the stuff
No.
right now? What's on your list? What stories are you outlining right now?
Right now, like solar panel is one. I just put in one for about bus. The DDOT. They are making improvements. They have a plan put together to improve, and their biggest downfall is that they don't have no one that want to drive the bus. Like, that's really where they are finding their biggest challenge. And stuff like that, like, yeah, we could write about how the DDOT, oh, it's not running, it's not doing that, but what's the real issue?
So that's the issue, is that they can't find workers right now. They can't find qualified drivers.
And it's drivers. Like, they could find people to manage. They could find they could find mechanics, kind of, sort of.
And did they say why they're having such a trouble with drivers?
No, so I'm working kind of on this different angle too, because normal me, I would have reached out to their department as well. Like, and that's why I want to go back and I'm going to continue studying journalism, because I'm like, I kind of don't remember that. I feel like I do remember that from school, but it's like, it's different ways that you can do it as well. Like, we heard from y'all. We always hear from y'all. I'm just strictly writing and hearing from, like, the citizen. And I ended up hearing from a bus driver and doing that. But, I mean, he kept it real. He on that end. So.
And what is bad journalism and good journalism to you?
Bad journalism is just not researching. Like how they just said that boxer was trans. That was bad journalism.
Horrible journalism. That's a Google search could have fixed that.
Like, y'all didn't. How did you run with that?
But it's like that's another thing about journalism. The controversy sells. So if you gonna say something bad about a trans person, you know it's gonna take off. Whether it's fucking in good morals or bad morals, you're gonna get hella clicks and likes off of that. So I think they took advantage of that. But like you said, it's not good journalism, because it's just simply misinformation.
Yeah, and that was just weird, honestly.
Agreed. And what is good journalism?
Good journalism would have been saying that intersex people would. I know a lot of people learn, like, the real definition of intersex during that conversation, and just being real, just bringing that to the attention of, like, what you learn. And that's what I'm learning and practicing my journalism. Like, the story writes itself. It's not me making no story. I'm just putting the pieces together.
Yeah.
Making a puzzle, really. Like,
do you see yourself going back to school for journalism? When and where?
when I got, like, when in the next 3 years, because it's a list of where, and I'm just putting it out there that I'm gonna get a full ride. It's gonna be paid for. So, but I know also I got to put in the work and give them something that be like, oh yeah, I want her.
Yeah. So what's the difference between a journalist and a content creator?
That's so funny, because that was, like, one of my struggles coming out as a journalist, and, like, they were like, oh, she got a blog, that's a blogger. Like, no, I'm a journalist. It's just the work that I don't know. That's a really good question, honestly. Do you have, like, an answer for that, or what you think about that?
I think like you said before, with good journalism and bad journalism, research and quality of work. A journalist isn't just going to a a journalist of any integrity, no matter what side you lean for, ain't just gonna put anything out just to put anything out. Um, it was the same thing with the content creators that you might find any random video that supports whatever bad idea you have. Then you're gonna take that and post it out and put it out there as truth, as an absolute truth. And because you got a bunch of ignorant people or just people who share that same ignorant idea, you got hundreds of thousands of people just coming and co-signing that bad idea because you wasn't worried about the story or the information or even just writing a story for yourself. You just wanted the clicks and the views and you want your content to soar.
Yeah. See, okay, I can agree with that. And yeah, and I think that's been one of my challenges too, as being even a journalist and working on putting out information and even being in front of the camera and stuff like that. Like, I'm not trying to get in front of the camera and I know like some things I say and just being in the world, like it come off and some people might laugh, and I'm not trying to get on here and be no clown for real.
I get that. And how is it being a black lady journalist?
I cannot, besides like applying for jobs and not even getting an interview, is like, I don't know. I can't.
So as far as you being out in the world, you being yourself has never hindered you being a journalist?
No, because like when my uncles and them made a joke like, oh yeah, y'all know your cousins be in the room with the mayors and the governors and stuff like that, it was like, that is a true fact. Like, I do be talking to them, and so no, it hasn't been. I haven't really seen it be too much of a. I haven't seen the direct effect of somebody just like, oh, you a black lady, I don't want to talk to you. Like,
And how does it feel to be in those rooms with those important people?
it kind of feel normal. Honestly, it do feel normal because when I think about where I went to school and the schools that I went to, like, we was always around somebody who was of status and doing something, and it's like I'm used to the governor coming to see me or the mayor coming to my room.
Yeah. Okay. And
or going to see them.
Yeah. What's so far in your career, what do you think is the biggest story you ever wrote?
That's a good question. It's so funny because some stories I don't even, like, I go back and be like, dang, I did write it. Let's talk about that. My biggest story, I would have to even look into that. I think some topics was like gun violence was a good one. Telling people where they can get gun locks from. That was a good one. Suicide awareness. That's a good one. I don't know. I think.
What was your favorite story? Which one you had the most fun writing?
My last one about the Detroit Kite Festival.
At Bella? Mm-hmm. She was there. That's fun.
Oh, nice.
How was the Kite Festival?
It was cool. It was real fun. We go pretty much every year since we've been knowing about it. So this is about the third or fourth year.
Okay. That's cool. And it was a lot of old people there with their kites?
Yeah, I went with my mom. I think I was the youngest person out of my family there. My friend came and her son was there. So that was fun, and watching him and teaching him how to fly a kite was cool.
Okay. Does your family support your journalism? Mm-hmm. How so?
Well, my uncle ended up being the picture that we use. And they just read it. They read the papers. They tell their friends, and they help lead me to stories as well.
Okay. Do you have a journalism family, or are you the first journalist out the families?
I'm the first journalist out the family.
Okay. What else does your family do?
Everybody working various fields between like working in healthcare. My sister in school now, still education, business, technology, HR. Do
you see yourself extending that rope down to other people in the family, that knowledge of journalism? Because it's not too complicated if you want to do it. So even like you said, you're doing your freelance, then your personal thing now. Do you think you might have your sister come carry the camera or take some pictures, or you might have somebody just I'm on the list with her and help you out.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like I got my cousin. I know he work a camera. He know how to use it. So I actually told him a couple of weeks ago, like, okay, I'm gonna be hitting you up when I go outside. You know, you come work the camera, or just be out there. You know what I'm saying? Work the camera, make sure the angle and stuff good. And sometimes you need another person, but that was something we learned in school, like being that one bad man journalist, that backpack.
That shit just tiring. Having to
It's
do everything by
different.
yourself. It's different, yeah. Having to do everything by yourself.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you said tiring because some people be like, dang, I be thinking like you could be doing more and stuff, and I'll be like, it's a lot of work to get this song. You know what I'm saying?
Because I've done it before. I've been, like I said, the one man band. I got all this equipment. I got to set it up, take it down, take the pictures, record the audio, go home, edit everything, and put it
Separate,
all
yeah.
out.
They don't even know you separate all of that. Like, got the audio and the video, got to match that up. Like,
There's a lot of space all over the place with stuff like that. And so, have you heard about the NABJ and the Donald Trump
I did.
situation? What's your take on that?
When you asked me about like being a black female journalist, I was thinking about those ladies, and I want to watch it. I haven't even watched it.
Okay.
Like, even the small clips, I haven't paid too much attention to them. I'll have to watch it because I really didn't even watch it, and I was just like, it already to me seemed like it was already to me too much. So that's why I was like, I didn't even look at it yet.
But I seen it. It's what you would expect from Donald Trump. He gonna do the same thing he always been doing. But a lot of the initial criticisms were they didn't like the fact that he was there in general. And I personally believe, and I actually did write about this. It came out last week. It's not a journalist's job to like nothing for real. It's just your job to tell the story. And I said a lot of people he shouldn't be here because of all these things. I said that might be true, but we still gotta come in, and accept him, and we ain't gotta rub his feet or give him nothing to eat or nothing like that. But give him a chair and let him fucking embarrass himself like he always do.
I thought it was cool that they had him there because, like, right, what do we have against? This is a presidential candidate. Like, you are to hear both sides, and if they want to put it as these are the main people who are against him, when honestly it probably was somebody in that room. It was somebody in that room that's really for him.
Yeah, for sure.
That's he there for. You know what I'm saying? So hear what he's saying. It was interesting, and they definitely, as the media has said, they got what they want. You got the attention, and that's good because I know I hear about the NABJ because that's what type of community and that's the people that I'm around. But to hear it that big, like, no, I haven't seen it on my local news, and they was like, oh, yeah, Donald Trump was over at the NABJ. Now the world know what NABJ is.
No, exactly, because I'm in the NABJ, and yeah, I'll send you the link too, so you can do it.
Yeah, send me the link, because definitely you're supposed to be in Chicago. Like,
I would have been there, but shit happened. But yeah, it's a good organization. Like, in general, all in all, you'll love it. It's a nice organization. So I do support the choice to have him there. Because we're journalists, you don't get the chance to turn down. You don't really get an opportunity to like turn down things like that. If you really care about the job, some people work for Fox and all those other big places, so they get that corporate benefits and big finances from it. But that clouds the sport of journalism. When you are in freelance positions like ours, you can kind of tell it how it is. And not kind of get too much pushback. Well, pushback is gonna come. You don't get that kind of pushback.
And yeah, that's like you said. That's what's kind of fun too, especially like the publication that we write for, because it's like we could write something very controversial, and it's like it kind of got to be found. Like you had to have found it. Like in the neighborhood, somebody might talk about it, and that be the conversation, and you hear about it. You might hear about it, but yeah, that's.
Do people pull you aside and say, I read your article and stuff like strangers?
Have a strange. No, I did have a coworker when I told like, yeah, I write and stuff like that. She was like, I googled you and like I could read your articles. Like you really got something. That was like the first like, you could Google me.
How does it feel to be Googleable?
Well, my LinkedIn had been up there in the Facebook account, so. But to really be to some work or something like that was pretty cool. I was like, for real? And then somebody else did, another coworker did, and they was like, oh yeah, no, like links pulled up. And I mean, that's probably because the proximity of the situation, because they didn't even have to put in like Telegram or nothing like that. Like it really pulled up. But I think that's cool. And then I saw like when I went on the newspaper, now like I gotta register for real now. You did that?
Register for on the website?
Yeah.
Not yet.
Oh. No, did you put that together for the web design that got it on there? So like now you really can't read the articles without signing up.
Something like that. Yeah, I done read too many of them, and I just be lazy and don't sign on. But I do need to do that.
No, it's like set up now on the. If you try to read it and you not signed up, you can't read. Like I tried to read my article from online to send to people, and I'm like, oh, I'm not gonna be able to send it to you. You got to sign up for real now.
I think you get like a free one, maybe, because you've been on it so much.
I ran out.
Yeah, you ran out. Yeah, so I actually have to do the same thing, and that does feel good that people have to like work to get your stuff a little bit. But you don't live in the area that the paper goes out into regularly.
No.
So yeah, if you were around a little bit more. They'll definitely pull you to the side and say, "Yeah, I read your paper. Your stuff in the paper," because that happens to me. The old ladies I be delivering the paper to, I read your paper. I read your story.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool. So,
that's what's up.
Cheers to journalism. So as far as the Telegram to go, we are working on like taking it digital. How do you want to? Get in that process? How do you want to wedge into that digital realm of the Telegram?
That's so funny because I know I'm sitting here and I'm gonna be like cringing when I watch this in what's the name back, because I'm like, oh my gosh, you still got to work on being on camera. But I really think like I'm ready to put together the packages and be that broadcast journalist that I was trained to be. Like being behind the camera's cool, but I ain't even gonna lie, like my production skills suck. That probably was like why they was like they got the reels and was like, girl. But I mean, I'm like, I could probably work on me. I could anchor something in. I ain't had like my stand-ups was always decent. Like I could do a nice
so like
stand-up.
when you stand in front of the camera.
Yeah, I mean, of course you do get to practice them about 5 times, but
can you write other stuff like novels, poems, like things outside of journalism?
I can. Like, of course, I was like, oh yeah, you could rap because I'm not a singer.
Oh, you can rap.
So
You kind of you give me rapper vibes.
I can rap, but now I'm like in the poet bag because that's really me. Like,
Okay. Or have you been like writing poetry and doing open mic since all that type of stuff?
I have been writing poetry. I haven't done an open mic, but I am thinking like that would be cool. Like I wouldn't even mind.
Okay. What's your poetry content?
Anything. Like my last poem, the one I thought of making, that I did, what would you say, in my head really, was about a keychain. My keychain broke. And but think about it. How long do a keychain stay with you sometimes?
Sometimes forever, sometimes not that long.
Yeah, but sometimes it could be like years.
Years, yeah, for sure.
And that was a keychain that I had for years. And I'm like, dang, I ain't never think you was going to break on me like broke. And I found it, like, not on the ground. I think I found it in, like, some pockets. And I don't even really keep my keys in my pocket. Mm-hmm. So maybe I did sit on it and I broke it then.
It hurt your feelings a lot of it?
No, but I'm like, now I'm about to, it was, I'm going to put, you just inspired me. Let me go ahead and write that poem out and put it down. And
speaking of inspiration, like what else inspires your creativity amongst all of the stuff?
Just really human life, just the simple things. Like I'm not that complex, and that's what make me think about like even my journalism career. Like I went to go talk to some kids, a week or two ago, and they didn't even know what the free press was.
How old were they?
13, 14. The oldest was like maybe 17.
Okay.
16. At that age, I knew what the free press was. Like we were just talking about how we was in 6th, 7th grade making newspapers, and so we had to read them. I'm like, kind of, I think like any journalist that's from Detroit or been about here, you'd be like, okay, yeah, I want to work for the Free Press if it was a newspaper, or like even the Michigan Chronicles. And I'm like, so just thinking like, okay, damn, now I got a little lost.
No, you good. So how should us older journalists, not even older, we're like in the middle, we both 30, well, we're in our 30s, how can we trickle down to journalism to the younger people? Because it's different nowadays. I think the reason they don't know about the free press is because they so digital. When we was 13 to 17, the world wasn't as digital.
Yeah, and then you really can't kind of like, I guess they not too much even into it. I want to say that because like, I don't know, what would you even look up? And then I guess something of the free press would pull up versus a YouTube video for you to watch and learn whatever you might have Googled or searched on whatever engine. The way we can do it is like, after talking to those kids, I was like, you know what? I could do this. I'll do it again. Like, I always wanted to go to a career day, but I was like, well, like I was talking about, well, I guess that's how I was summing it up about the free press. It was like, not the scale of journalism that I thought I would be at. Like, yeah, I should be able to write for the free press or something like that. But you got to look at stuff like a lot of people don't even get a chance to, what they say, oh, when you graduate from college, you ain't even going to work in your field. You're not going to be able to. I got right out and was working in my field. And because it wasn't a free press, it was kind of like, well, it ain't the free press. And it was like, oh, you got some more work to do, instead of just being.
Was you a little down about that?
No, I was like, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. But I was getting pressure outside of like, but it ain't the free press. Kind of like.
That pressure came from inside or from the outside?
Different. It was like inside, outside, and it was like, I mean, but I am doing work. And then it was like, everybody saw like, but she is doing the work. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then you gotta. So, but with that being said, when I talk to the kids, I'm like, you got to go out there, and I wanted to do a career day, but I was always like, but it ain't the free press, so I'm going out there like, yeah, I work for the Telegram, and they going to be like,
oh, what's
we don't
the
even read
Telegram?
it. Yeah, like, they don't even know what the free press is, so I'm like, that newspaper.
Yeah.
But it's like, yeah, that newspaper, like, this a black newspaper. You can go and in your community see the publisher, you gonna see the, like you said, the people in the community see you, and they like, I read your article, you gonna see the staff, and they're working for you, and we telling y'all stories and what matters to you to hear for other people.
In situations like that, the people who want to get it, get it.
Yeah, and yeah.
And then we talk about kids, so you got to expect just a lot of assholes.
And some of them was touched. Like the one guy, he had a clothing brand, and so he ended up coming. And I was talking to the young lady who brought me there to speak to him, and we was
it a career day?
It was just it was the police cadets. You know about the police cadets for Detroit? They were working, and I don't know how their schedule was, but this young lady was bringing in people to talk to them so that they can just understand, like, y'all are working, so start thinking about the jobs and the career that you want to go into. So she just had people with different career paths come up there and talk to them about different things. And that's what I think, that's one way that we can give to the young people, keep them interested. Because did I see a journalist? Yeah, I did see some journalists come through, especially when I was at CAS. Like, some journalists came through and they talked to us and stuff like that. But, yeah, let them know, like, honestly, I'm trying to get used to, like, how cool life is. Like, being a journalist, like, I just went sailing this past week.
Say that one more time.
I just went sea sailing.
Sea sailing.
Yeah, on a sail ship.
What is that?
Pirate.
Like a pirate?
Yeah. It's a ship, you know, when you set up the sails and stuff like that. It was called a schooner.
A schooner. Okay.
That's the tall. I learned some things while I was out there.
Yeah. Can you write a story about that, or can you translate that into journalism?
Yeah, and I am.
Okay.
And I am. And then I actually got really so inspired because, so I went on it, and I got to do better because I really did want, like, you or Cliff to come with me because I'm like, I don't know about getting on no boat, no water by myself, you know what I'm saying? Like, with on some networking stuff. I don't know these people for real, but it was really cool. It was nice.
It could have turned into a Diddy party real quick, huh?
Oh, it could have turned into anything, especially if we was going in the evening. So it's like, when I sent my location, I'm like, look, we dock back at 8:30. But that's just how cool journalists is. Like being a journalist is. I go out there and I'm writing on a story because the next day after the networking event, I'm like, so what? You know, these are the partners and the people that get together to make this happen. But what is actually happening? And it was a group of, it was called Boys to Men. It was a young youth male mentorship organization. And they were bringing their group of kids on the boat to like, okay, let's see what the river is about and the different jobs, the organisms on there. And it was cool.
Okay, cool.
So I was like, that is nice. And from what the parents said and the kids had to say, it was nice. And I definitely got to work on my skills if I have to interview kids because, yeah, it was, I asked them, what brought you out here today? And they told me, who brought them out here? I was like,
my mama.
Yeah, and I was like, and then of course one kid ran with it, so all of them ran with it. And I'm like, I could see how that happened. And I'm like, okay, but then when I interviewed them after, and I'm glad I did do it before and after, honestly, they had like so much to say because they thought they were going fishing and stuff. And I was like, okay, I didn't know y'all was going.
Yeah.
I'm like, I didn't know we was going fishing. Because they could have been right.
Yeah. What are your interview? What do you consider a good interview skill? When it comes down to you talking to your talents and your subjects.
Open-ended questions is the best thing. That's the biggest takeaway from, like, being a journalist. Just ask an open-ended question, like, and be direct sometimes. Like, you got to know when to be direct.
And what happens when you end up doing those closed-ended questions or those things that can be construed? Because, like you said, you're talking to a kid, essentially. They mind all over the place. What you say might sound different to them.
Then you get the kids. That was different. Like I said, I definitely got to work on interviewing like kids. You just kind of like, if you asking yes or no questions, that's, you're not making a story, but you're not getting as much information or as details, or you could be missing out on something that somebody had to say or even wanted to expound upon.
How important is getting all of that information?
I mean, it depends on like how much you want to know. It really depends on how much you want to know.
Mm-hmm. Then when you are conducting your normal journalism, how much do you want to know? Like, where are you really cracking the base? Are you trying to get in the middle? Or are you trying to take all the information?
See, I have a problem. Sometimes I like to be, you find me on the deep end of the pool all the time. So, but I work on that because everyone interview isn't to be that. Like, if I'm talking to an expert, yeah, we going deep because you the expert. If I'm just trying to get, not even a, what am I trying to get? Like, if I'm even trying to get a story, I'm just out here asking a question to see, like, what's the conversation, what's to be talked about.
Okay, that's cool. And what does the future of journalism look like to you?
I think that's gonna be a good time. Like, it looks like I can't even put it in words for real. It's just, it looks like me putting in the work and knowing like, oh, damn, like you said, when you go out in the neighborhood and somebody like, yeah, I read your story, we gotta spread the telegram like that anyway. Like, it should be, because it's a great piece of literature, informative, and so that's like, it should reach out to my community now, and they like see me and like, oh yeah, I did read your story or something like.
You stay out in the city?
Yeah, I stay on the west side.
Okay, yeah, we got to get something out there.
I say from the west side.
And if I do, I kind of glanced it over because you just glanced over it for fun, but you went to Cass.
What?
Nothing. I'm talking shit. I don't got no ill feelings against Cass. So some listeners might, because you know it's how it be sometimes.
They should not.
Well, and
not me, because.
So tell me about your experience at Cass Tech.
Cass was cool.
Were you doing was that like, were you up into the science stuff then, or were you just like a little bit of journalism, a little bit of science, or was it just like, oh, what was it at Cass?
Cass, I was just doing my classes. I was just really out there being a model student, doing my classes, playing sports, and like volunteering. No, if you were just being a model student, like, oh yeah, let me get a scholarship for school.
What sports did you play?
I played softball and volleyball.
Okay. Were you any good?
I played them. I got a varsity. I ain't. We made it somewhere. We made it places. We actually champs in a lot of things. We ain't win city champs though. That's in softball, but in volleyball we won city champs. And the funny thing about softball, not softball, volleyball. Volleyball we won city champs. Volleyball. Somebody asked me, was volleyball harder than basketball because an Olympic player had switched from basketball to volleyball.
He did like a great job too, wasn't he? Something like that.
And volleyball hard.
Yeah.
Like I played basketball. And basketball is cool, but volleyball is different. Like this ball coming super fast, hitting your arms. Like anybody who didn't play volleyball year round, or even if you did, say you took a month or a 2 week off or something like that, when you come back and that ball hit your arms gonna be sore.
It don't
it
feel
used to be
good.
like we walking out of practice. I ain't walked out of practice from no softball like that. Like maybe my legs might burn, but your legs burning too because I'm like this.
Yeah. So do you do sports journalism?
No, I want to. I've been working on that too because I know you be all at the Rouge games, and I just now start kind of feeling, and that's what our community's so funny, man, because I think about giving back, and I went to Howard and we got big homecoming. I'm like, well, homecoming technically, even if you go to high school and all that, it's for the alumni to come back and give. And I'm like, yeah, that'd be the best time to come back, talk to students and stuff like that. So I definitely want to attend like a homecoming game and see the sports because they doing. I go to these professional games and they not paying me to write about them, and they not.
We can go to the real homecoming game, or we can go to a homecoming game this year, so we can do that. So, what do you want to cover? The festivities and the volunteer and the charity part of the homecoming, or you want to do like the sports itself?
Actually, I want to do something. I think it'd be cool, like if we gave them like what it would look like when they went to college or when they make it pro after, when the press come and ask them questions and stuff like that. If we talk to players like that, it will. I guess I don't even think about that in high school, how they they know that it's some star athletes and some standout people, like had top 5, 7, 10, whatever. You could even rotate it or however you want to do that. And if it was like not at every program, but if they did it like every home game for this team or something like that, they get to have a little press conference. I think that'd be cool, and then that'd be another way to even like give, spark journalism into schools.
Is that a way you would like to give back and reach that ladder down to the next generation? It's to prep them for being on all sides of journalism, maybe in front of the camera and behind the camera.
Or even like how we see a lot of people say, well, I shout out my girl, Adrian Reese. That ain't my girl, but they be like, she, like, we don't know each other, but I'm a supporter. I do like her. She need PR, she need training, but that's where, like, these athletes can get this training and start, and they remember, like, oh, yeah, and then you teach the kids, because I know my high school, they do, I'm pretty sure, and I hope they do, still got a newspaper, and see, that's why I need to be checking in. Somebody who is into sports journalists can be like, oh, I could write the story about it. Yeah, I do want to be in this room. I want to ask them a question and get to say it. And then they'll learn and work on that, too, because, like, that newspaper spread around the school, and if you said something kind of crazy or, you know what I'm saying, or really nice.
Your peers going to let you know you said some dumb shit, or they going to let you know you said something that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. That's cool. Well, we almost out of here. Almost reaching time. I don't want to hold up my producer too much. Kellee, you got anything you want to say? Anything you want to leave us with? Anything that the people who wants to be in your shoes, what can you tell them?
Yeah, if you want to be in my shoes. Also, I be playing too much. I want to like these some Adidas that look like some Yeezys, but they ain't.
Those are nice shoes though.
Thanks. But they are comfortable. I ain't gonna lie. It's Man, it takes some getting used to. Like right now, if you're saying like right now where I'm at, it takes some getting used to of like doing the work, feeling that the work that you're doing is part of your purpose, is rewarding, and that you can get better. Like you really doing some work for real, and how relaxed it is. Because I could still work out and I could still go and like have a not really socialize right now because I'm trying to be financially in a different bag, but I can go and still, like I said, work out, and they got some free events to go do yoga, and I got the time. I made the money that I can make for the day that I am gonna make. I produce something. Even some days if I don't make no money, it's like I produce something that I know it's gonna pay off. It's a different feeling than going to work every day and having to put like, oh, and then I know at the end of the day that check's still gonna come. But it's relaxing. I go and have some coffee when I want to. I can have lunch with some other people. It feels like a business thing, and it's a different life though, and it's something to get used to. And I think that all of us should just. No, I can't tell you what everybody should do. Just life is a feeling process. That's one of my favorite things that Big Sean Daddy said, and I always be thinking about that. Like that is so true, man.
Well,
Just get better.
thank you, Kellee. I appreciate you. The people at home appreciate you.
Thank you.
That's all, y'all. Enjoy the rest of y'all day.
Oh, that was nice. Glad to be here.